Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be my top 3 romantic series. If you've been watching my videos, you might believe that I hate romance because I can be very, very negative about romance being shoehorned into books that I'm reading that I just don't believe it has a place in. However, when I was younger, especially teens and 20s, I basically only read romantasy and historical fiction. So romance and fantasy, that's romantasy. And then I read a lot of historical fiction, especially centered around the 1800s and the Edwardian period. It was a thing, but with the takeover of things like Sarah J. Maas books and Bridgerton, which I have no connection to and just don't feel invested in, I pulled back from that. I read sci-fi, classics, monster books. I think that the genre became so overly saturated with the amount of fae, vampire, werewolf books that I just want to keep up. And I don't like the inclusion of a lot of smut in my fantasy romance. So yeah, if you love that, that's for you. It's not for me. These are all going to be clean series, and that's really what I want. I want swoony, over-the-top romance. When I want romance, I want it to be sappy. I want it sugary sweet. I want it to be romantic. And I mean that in like, I know it's cheesy. I know it's ridiculous. I know marriage of convenience probably isn't like a great trope, but do I want that? Yeah, that's what I want, okay? And I still want it to be clean. Like, back off me. That's what I want. So with this, let's start with the first series, which is going to be the Elves of Lessa. And this by K.M. Shea. It's a 3-book series with a planned 4th book, but they are all standalone. There's no cliffhanger endings, and they each follow a different couple. I love this series. This is the series that really made me connect with K.M. Shea as an author. I love the 2nd book, especially. That's like the top. It's called Royal Magic. And I just love this series. I think the characters are great. I think the romance is really great. It's about humans and elves in this society where they can't really communicate. They're very different cultures, different languages, but they're trying to bridge that gap by having these human and elves pairings between the royal families. And they are friends and partners, and then of course there's romance. And I love it. Love it. I especially love Gwendolen and Benjamin, and I applaud her for her very complicated fantasy names because I'm always like, what are their names again? But I especially love them in Royal Magic, like I said. This series is clean. It is very humorous and silly at times, but also has drama, and I really like it. I think it works. I think it is what you want if you want simple, sweet, clean, and with funny characters. So that's my recommendation. Okay, next I'm gonna go into, so this is a series I've talked about, the Lunar Chronicles. And the first one, Cinder, is great. The second one, Scarlet, is really good. The third one, Crest, is my favorite, but the whole series is really good. And it obviously all the books flow into the next one, but these are Fairytale Retellings. And this one is Rapunzel, if you can't tell. And I like Cress and Thorn as a couple the best. They're the ones that I connected with the most. I really feel like they're the couple that I relate to the most. So yeah, Cress and Thorn are my favorites, but I like all the romance in the books. I didn't feel like there was any couple that I hated. Some of them have a better connection, I felt like, or I enjoyed their romance a little bit more, but I highly recommend the Lunar Chronicles. It starts off with Cinder, which is a Cinderella retelling, Scarlet, which is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, Cress is Rapunzel, and then Winter is Snow White. So, and I think that it just works on a level that I didn't expect with a sci-fi, fantasy. It's got everything. I mean, it's like future, and Cinder is actually like a cyborg type. Like she's got metal parts, and I guess they'd be robotic parts. But I was shocked that I liked this series. I feel like there are no weak characters. I really like it. And then the actual the spin-off series that is a graphic novel called Wires and Nerve, I believe, I'll put it there, is really good too. So that's my next recommendation. If you haven't read the Lunar Chronicles, clean but epic, kind of romance, fantasy, sci-fi, and I really like it. And finally, an author I don't talk enough about. This is Brian and Bone by Kate Stradling, but this is part of a series that are all fairy tale retellings. This is Little Mermaid. I wanted to say Ariel. Little Mermaid, and then the next one is Sit and Slipper, which is obviously Cinderella, and then The Heir and the Spare. And these are And I'm not sure. I think that's based off of an obscure fairy tale. I'll have to look it up. If I find it, I'll put it there. I know she also has a King Thrushbeard retelling, I believe it's called, which I'll also put there. But I really like her take on fairy tales. I think that these are really good. I appreciate her kind of darker tone with this one. The romance is super sweet. Don't get me wrong. Like, this is sappy, sugary. We grew up as best friends, but like I wanted to be with you and I couldn't. And oh, it was like, you know, this whole thing. So these books are definitely more romance focused, but they do have that darker tone, especially with this one, which focuses on the Little Mermaid, and she's definitely more of the villain of the story, whereas the prince and then the lady, the woman, I guess, who finds him is the love interest. So she finds him after the mermaid saves him. She finds him on the beach, and there's that. So I like this. I like Sit and Slipper. That one actually takes like the turn of kind of like a murder mystery almost. And then The Air and the Spare was quite dark, but I appreciate that. I appreciate them incorporating in the more darker tone that a lot of the original fairy tales would have, but also then there is like the very, very, you know, sweet romance and clean. So if you're looking for a romance series that is fantasy or fairy tale retelling, I recommend these. These are really good. I have finished Lord of the Flies. Let's get to the wrap up. I have finished Lord of the Flies. I am almost halfway through Sky in the Deep, which, oh my goodness, I am struggling. I need the strength to carry on with this series. I do not understand. I do not know where are the characters. And I have had to sit through 2 animal sacrifices for this series, or for this book, for this one book, 2 animal sacrifices. And I am not, okay, I am. I have a dog, but I'm not like a crazy animal lover, but even I'm like, I don't want to hear about you plunging your knife into an animal and the blood dripping out. And like, it's not hunting. It's not for survival. This is just them slaughtering animals for their, you know, Viking gods. And I don't care. Like, and it was so annoying. Sorry, that's my rant about that. But I did finish Lord of the Flies. I will probably do a dedicated or have it in one of my wrap-ups review of that. I have thoughts. And then I am finishing up some manga, and I did read a whole manga series that turned out to be not very good. So I'll be in my next video, but I wanted to give you something for Valentine's Day so you could have some romance in your life. I don't hate love. I don't hate romance. It's just not my favorite genre anymore. I am changed. But those are my recommendations for romance. And if you're looking for something to read for Valentine's Day, I highly recommend them. Let me know what you're reading and what your plans are for Valentine's Day in the comments, and I will talk to you again soon.